This video is brought to you by the Program Manager Infantry Combat Equipment, or PMICE. PMICE is a program management office within Marine Corps Systems Command located in Quantico, Virginia. This video is one in a series of videos PMICE has developed in order to instruct, educate, and assist Marines in the proper form, fit, function, use, and care of infantry combat equipment being fielded by this program office. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the proper use and care of the Enhanced Combat Helmet, referred to from here on as the ECH. Please note that this is an updated video of the ECH. An update was needed due to the new retention system as well as the new night vision device bracket. Here is the original ECH with the NVD bracket and the X-back retention system. If you have this particular helmet, please watch our original video on Marine Corps Systems Command's YouTube channel. The search title for that video is simply Enhanced Combat Helmet Training Video. Here is the ECH that we will discuss in this video. There are absolutely no differences between the actual helmets. As I mentioned, the only difference is the NVD bracket and the new H-back retention system. If you have this version of the ECH, then this is the video for you. It's important to point out that this helmet is not replacing this helmet. Two Marines could be wearing these two helmets side by side, and one does not have any more protection than the other. The only difference again is the NVD brackets and the retention system. During this video, we will demonstrate the procedure for inspecting the ECH for serviceability, installing the NVD bracket, the reversible helmet cover, and the suspension system pads. We will also cover donning the ECH, making proper adjustments to the retention system, and the care and cleaning of the ECH. Finally, we will demonstrate how to determine an individual Marine's helmet size. The ECH is a result of an urgent statement of need that called for improved ballistic protection against select small arms ammunition and fragmentation, while maintaining the weight of the lightweight helmet. The ECH was co-developed by the Marine Corps and the Army. The ECH will replace the currently issued lightweight helmet. The ECH will be issued out of the individual issue facility, and the sizes will range from small through extra large. As with all helmets, a properly sized and properly worn helmet significantly increases its protection capabilities. Before we begin, let's discuss the components that make up the ECH. The bare helmet itself is called the shell. The outer edges of the shell are covered by the edge trim. The components of the ECH include the new H-back retention system, a night vision device bracket, a reversible helmet cover with a hole pre-cut, and a set of 7 suspension system pads which must be installed at all times. The quantities of the pads are as follows: 1 crown pad, 4 oval pads, and 2 front rear pads. The standard pads are 3/4 of an inch thick. However, for those requiring a more snug fit, there are also 1-inch pads available upon request via the individual issue facility. Finally, a quick reference guide will be issued with each helmet, which will include information presented in this video as well as additional information not covered in this video. We'll now demonstrate the procedures for inspecting the ECH for serviceability. You should conduct this inspection when you first receive the ECH and periodically during use. On the helmet itself, examine for dents, cuts, and chipped or delaminating paint. Next, check the shell's edge trim for any loose or missing material. Inspect for damaged or loose hook disc. Discs that will not securely hold the pads in place will require the wearer to turn the helmet in for a replacement. Next, check the retention system for torn or frayed webbing, broken adjustment slides, serviceable chin strap, and missing or loose attaching hardware. Any of these problems render the ECH unserviceable. Finally, inspect the pads for cuts, tears, or other damage to outer fabric, deteriorated inner foam, and pads that don't adhere to the hook disc. This is a good time to ensure which size pads you have, either the 3/4 inch or the 1 inch. If any of these problems exist with the pads, replace the appropriate pads. Regardless of the inspection results, pads should be replaced after 6 months of continuous use. Before we install the suspension system pads, we must install the night vision device bracket and the reversible helmet cover. The NVD bracket for this ECH is different than the bracket that was originally fielded with the ECH. Here we have the bracket screw and the bracket post. Start off by inserting the bracket post into the hole from the inside of the helmet. Place the NVD bracket over the hole and insert the screw from the outside. Hold it in place and then grab a flathead screwdriver to secure it in place. Turn hand tight plus a 1/4 inch turn. If it comes loose during use, simply tighten it up. However, after doing this 5 or 6 times, replace the hardware. Let's take a minute to discuss the placement of the screw. To ensure the proper attachment of your night vision device onto the bracket, the screw must be placed at the very bottom of the slot. Doing otherwise will prevent your NVD from attaching to the bracket because the head of the screw will be in the way. For demonstration purposes, we are going to loosen the screw so you can see exactly where it should be. Prior to tightening the screw, slide the bracket up towards the top of the helmet and then tighten the screw in place. You are now ready to install the newly designed reversible helmet cover. The new design allows you to change from the desert to the woodland pattern without having to remove the NVD bracket. Start by passing the pre-cut hole over the NVD bracket. Continue to install the helmet cover until all the hook and loop straps are securely in place. We are now ready to install the suspension system pads. The pads are designed to absorb energy in order to reduce head injury risk from blunt impacts. The crown pad sits directly in the center of the helmet. The front rear pads are placed at the front and at the back of the helmet, flush with the inside of the edge trim. The hardware inside the helmet where the retention system attaches to the helmet in the 4 places must be covered by the 4 oval pads. As with the front rear pads, the 4 oval pads must be flush with the inside of the edge trim. The oval pads may be placed in either a vertical or a horizontal configuration or at any angle in between. The vertical configuration maximizes airflow for better temperature regulation. The horizontal configuration makes a seal around the user's head and is better suited for cold environments. However, regardless of the angle, you must ensure that all hardware is covered and that the pads are flush with the inside of the edge trim. It must be emphasized and clearly understood that using fewer than the 7 issued pads is not authorized. Removing the suspension system pads is equivalent to removing the airbags from your car. We will now demonstrate the proper procedure for donning the helmet and making adjustments to the retention system. Your ECH should be adjusted for a snug, secure fit at all times when the helmet is worn. Failure to do so may result in injury. When donning the helmet for the first time in a cold environment, it may be necessary to wear the helmet for a few minutes or otherwise warm the pads so that the pads will conform to the shape of your head. In addition to wearing the helmet to warm the pads, you can also place them in your pockets. As the pads warm up and conform to the shape of your head, it may be necessary to retighten the retention straps. Prior to donning the helmet and ensuring all 7 pads have been installed, loosen the retention straps all the way by sliding the 4 slides towards the helmet itself. Also loosen the nape pad strap by sliding the slide to the left. As you don the ECH, press down to ensure the center crown pad touches the top of your head and then buckle the chin strap, ensuring that your chin is centered in the opening. At this point, adjust all 4 side straps and the nape strap by sliding the slides in the appropriate direction. Adjust the left and right side simultaneously until the fit is snug, secure, and comfortable. Check the helmet stability by attempting to rock the helmet back and forth on your head. If the helmet rocks, it is not stable. If necessary, adjust the nape strap further until the helmet is stable and then recheck the stability. A properly fitted helmet will allow the wearer to see just the brim of the helmet, which equates to the brim being ½ inch above the eyebrows. We can check that using the 2-finger forehead check. The lower edge of the helmet will sit at the top of the ear canal and there will be no loose straps. If after all adjustments are made and the crown pad does not touch the wearer's head, more than ½ inch of the forehead is exposed, the wearer does not see the brim, or if the helmet is simply too tight, obtain a larger helmet. Likewise, if the helmet seems to be the right size, yet it is still too loose and or stitched too low on the brow, try using the 1-inch pads. If it is still too big, obtain a smaller helmet. Wipe the exterior of the helmet shell with a damp cloth. Clean the hook disc with a soft bristle brush to remove dirt and debris. Hand wash the pads with mild soap and water. Rinse them well and allow to air dry. Never machine wash or dry. Clean the retention system with a damp cloth. For the leather components, clean with mild soap, rinse thoroughly, and wipe dry with a clean cloth. Though your ECH is extremely durable, do not expose to an external heat source. Do not paint the helmet shell due to degradation of the infrared signature and reduction in flame resistance protection. Do not use it as a hammer, a shovel, a chair, or any other unintended purposes. We are now ready to demonstrate the procedure for determining the correct helmet size. Please refer to the quick reference guide for further details if necessary. The first step is to measure and record the wearer's head length. Using a caliper, measure the distance from between the eyebrows to the back of the head. Now place the tip of the caliper on the starting point of the sizing banner and take note of the actual helmet size indicated. The next step is to measure the wearer's head width. Again, using the caliper, measure the maximum horizontal width of the head just above the ears, and again, using the sizing banner, take note of the helmet size indicated. Now, using a tape measure, measure the maximum circumference of the head just above the ears and lay the tape measure on the sizing banner and take note of the size indicated. The final step is to compare all 3 measurements and select the measurement that corresponds to the largest of the 3. That is your ECH size. For example, if the head length corresponds to a large and the other 2 measurements correspond to a medium, you will still select a large helmet. If for some reason you do not have the sizing banner, simply use the caliper and a ruler to determine the measurements. Use this sizing chart in order to determine your helmet size. The sizing chart is also available in the quick reference guide. Let's take a quick minute to discuss the sizing kit itself. When your unit receives it, it's going to be packaged something similar to this. The caliper may or may not look like this, but either way it's going to be a working caliper that will allow you to get an accurate measurement. The sizing chart is what I want to discuss now. As you can see from being shipped and folded like this, it's going to have some natural ripples in it. You need to give the chart a chance to lay flat. You can assist that by using the grommets and anchoring it with 550 cord or even nailing it straight to a table through the grommets. You can duct tape it, do whatever you got to do, but you got to, before you measure marine, you want to make sure that it's nice and flat. As you can see the one on the table here, this was given a couple of hours, it lays flat naturally. If you can't find a flat table, you can use a firm piece of cardboard, and you can see here it lays nice and flat. If it's windy outside and this doesn't work for you, consider taking a piece of plywood, anchor it in the 4 corners, and it'll lay flat on there. Finally, I'll demonstrate how you can do mass fielding with your unit outside. The more charts you have, the better, but we'll demonstrate it with 1 chart, 1 marine. Simply, you would line up all the marines in a column and you can conduct the sizing one after the other. You take the first marine and you have him cradle the chart. I would step to his side and I conduct the first measurement, which is the head length. Again, ensuring that I touch the skin, but I do not indent the skin. I lay the caliper on the chart and we see we have a measurement of medium. Now I'll do the head width, just above the ears. And here we can see we have still a medium. Finally, we'll do the head circumference. We measured them at 22.5. Watch what I do here. I'm going to lay the measuring tape right on the chart, and then I'm going to press it down to make sure that it's nice and flat. I'll follow it all the way to 22.5. And I'm right on the edge of medium, so this Marine is a medium ECH. I tell him what size he is, he can go get it. I'll take the chart, and then we'll do the next Marine. I have a saved round for you. Let's talk about the measuring tape itself. Depending how they crimp the tip, they may have cut you short starting at the 1 inch mark. It's easy to check that. You could just take it and lay it up against a ruler. You could take it and lay it up against itself, or I'm just going to show you how I can measure it against another measuring tape. I'm going to take the tip, I'm going to lay it right on the 1 inch marker, and my 1 inch of this tape should line up to the 2 inch of this tape. And as you can see, it clearly does. So we know that this one has been crimped correctly. Make sure you always check them before you use them. It is imperative that you follow the procedures outlined in this video and the quick reference guide. Marine Corps Systems Command produced this video in order to demonstrate the proper use and care of the ECH. There are several other training videos on Syscom's YouTube channel that demonstrate the proper form, fit, and function of select infantry combat equipment such as the plate carrier and the USMC pack. Go check them out. For more information regarding the ECH or any other infantry combat equipment, please contact the program office at pm_ice@usmc.mil.